Oh, hey. So today in the mail, I got two cards. One is from Francis Energy, a little card to use with their DC fast chargers. And the other is from AARP. Welcome to the 50s Club. Well, the reason I got this Francis Energy card, though, is because I'm going on a business trip to Tulsa, Oklahoma next week, and I'm preparing because I'm renting an EV, and I want to make sure that I don't have an EV disaster like a lot of people do, like you hear in the media, when people don't do their research and they don't know what they're doing. So in this video, I'm going to go over how to prepare for renting an EV, especially for someone who is not an experienced EV driver, so that you don't have a disaster and that you do know what you're doing. I guess I just got this AARP card because I'm old. Well, hey, listen, age is just a number, right? At least that's how I look at it. It's not really that important. What is important, though, is if you're going to be going on a trip and you're going to be renting an EV, you want to make sure that you're prepared, okay? Especially if you're an inexperienced EV driver. Maybe you're going on a trip, you're thinking, hey, I've never driven an EV, I've heard about them, I'm going to give it a shot. Well, if you're not prepared and you don't know what to expect or what's going to happen, if you think it's just going to behave exactly like a gas car, well, you're going to have some trouble. And you're going to be one of those people that you read about in the media that gets stuck somewhere, or can't charge, doesn't know what they're doing, and tries to give EVs a bad name, when it was just a matter of education, really. So one of the first things that you should do is download an app called Chargeway, okay? You can use PlugShare too. I'll put the links to both down in the description. But the reason I like Chargeway is because it's color-coded. You can put in the car that you're going to be driving, and you can set a charge level. And so when you find certain chargers that you might be, you might want to go to that are in the area where you're going to be going, it kind of gives you a pretty good estimate of how long it'll take to charge, like to full, from whatever charge level you have. Now, a good rule of thumb that I usually use is I like to put in the vehicle that I'm going to be renting, and I'll set the charge level at like 30%. If you're inexperienced with EVs, you really shouldn't let yourself get too low on your state of charge. Like 30%, that's probably a good rule of thumb. So you can open the app. I've already put in, it's a Ford Mustang Mach-E. It's the rear-wheel drive, long range, whatever. So now I can search where I'm going to be going, and I'm going to be staying at the Hard Rock in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And it's going to find that, okay? So then I just tap on it, and it's going to show me all the chargers locally. Now I do have to sort of zoom out a little bit. And it looks like there's not many, but oh, look at that. There's actually a whole bunch, okay? Now the cool thing about these is the number system is going to tell you how powerful a charger it is. So if I just tap on this number 7 right here, it's going to show me that's Electrify America. And based on Mustang Mach-E at 30% and a charge limit of 80%, from 30 to 80, it says 35 minutes at a 350 kilowatt charger. I think it might be a little quicker than that, but whatever. And the cool thing about that is, like with Electrify America, because they're a big charging company, you can even in this app, it will show you all the chargers and if they're available or if they're being used or if they're down. I don't know exactly how reliable this is. I've usually found it to be pretty reliable in the Chargeway app, but you might want to also download the Electrify America app as well. There's some other chargers around, like a lot of these 6s. This is, again, Francis Energy. If I click here, Francis Energy. Click here, Francis Energy. You get the point. Francis Energy has a lot of chargers all around this particular area. So, I mean, if I just tap on one of them, Tandy YMCA. So 4 chargers, up to 200 kilowatts. It says it's going to take 30 minutes, 35 minutes. I don't think it really will, but because Francis Energy is kind of a local company in the Oklahoma area, I don't think they're plugged into the Chargeway app, so it doesn't really give you a status. But you can download the Francis Energy app, and that will give you the information that you need. So, in the Francis Energy app, if I type in Tulsa, Oklahoma, it's going to show me all the different chargers that are around and what they are. Again, if you're going on a trip and you're going to rent an EV, certain things you want to do. I signed up for an account with Electrify America because I have an EV. I have an account with EVgo. I have an account with ChargePoint. I have an account with Volta. But that's because I own an EV. If you don't own an EV and you're going to be renting one, you should still download the Electrify America app and the EVgo app and the ChargePoint app. It's just 3 apps. Like, you're going to log in, create an account, whatever. Put your payment information in, okay? Here's why. Most of the time when you get to a DC fast charger, wherever it is, Electrify America, EVgo, ChargePoint, a lot of times the credit card payment readers on those chargers don't work. They're terrible. They suck. Everybody that's experienced with EVs knows that the credit card payment readers on DC fast chargers, for the most part, are garbage. So a lot of times the easiest way to pay, the best way to make sure you're going to be able to charge is to use the app. Big deal. Sign up, create an account. Who cares? When you're done with your trip, just delete the apps. Close the account, cancel the app, whatever. It doesn't matter. This will at least ensure that most likely you'll be able to charge and you won't get stuck somewhere where it won't read your credit card. So it's super important to download those apps. Just sign up. There's just a few apps. Everybody's got a smartphone. Everybody can put those apps on their phone. If you're going to be renting a Tesla, download the Tesla app. However, most of the time, you probably won't need it because if you have a Tesla, the Tesla is going to tell you where the chargers are. And when you plug in to charge your Tesla, you're not going to have to do anything. Teslas are great because you just pull up to the Tesla supercharger, you plug the car in, and it starts charging. Your rental car company will then end up billing you for whatever the charging cost is. That's pretty cool. It's called plug and charge. Most of the time, if you're renting a CCS car like a Mach-E or Ioniq 5 or a Chevy Bolt, it's not plug and charge, and you're going to need one of these apps, and you're going to have to pay for the charging yourself. So keep that in mind. It's just a good idea to download these apps, set up accounts, put your payment information in so that you have no problems when you get to those chargers. You can just plug in, activate your charge, and you're not going to be stuck worrying about credit card readers and all that kind of stuff. That's very important. The next thing that's very important to do is when you decide what car you're going to rent, like I said, I use budget, but you can use whatever you want, Hertz, whoever. Doesn't matter. I have no preference. But there's a little thing that you probably know about because you're watching this video called YouTube. So look up the car that you're going to be driving. I mean, in my case, I'm going to be driving a Mustang Mach-E. So if I look up Mustang Mach-E, Mustang Mach-E, how to charge, how to open door, top speed, towing, Mach-E at home, blah, 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 how to charge. Very important. You'll find all kinds of videos. You see everything you know about charging the Mustang Mach-E, charging in 15 minutes from Tom Malogny. That's the one to watch. There's tons of them. They're all really good. Watch Tom Malogny because he knows his stuff, okay? Be prepared. You should look up other videos about how to use a Mustang Mach-E, how the infotainment system works. You know, get as much information about the car as you can before you get there. So when you pick the car up, it's not foreign. You're looking at things that you've already seen on YouTube. So it's like, oh, I get it. I've already seen this. I know how this works, right? Super important. Really good. So make sure before you leave, you download the apps that you need. You know where the chargers are in your local area that you're going to be staying. Or if you're going to be like road tripping somewhere with an EV, make sure you've planned out your route and you know where the chargers are and the most popular ones. And that you have the apps. Like for instance, like I said, you know, I downloaded the Francis Energy app and they sent me this card just for free. Doesn't matter. I set it up. So when I get there, I'm not going to have to be fumbling around trying to download the app and, oh, what do I do? I've already done it. I'm ready to go. So I'm going to be able to pull up to one of those Francis Energy chargers, plug in, activate the charge, and I'm going to be all set. Also, make sure you do research on the vehicle that you're going to be renting so that you're prepared. So, now that you've downloaded the apps, you've done some research on YouTube, you know the chargers around the area that you're going to be staying or road tripping, whatever the case may be. You understand the vehicle, you understand where the charging is, you've done your research, you're ready to go, right? Now you're prepared. You're not going to be one of these dopes that doesn't know what to do when they get there. You're ready. You're smart. You're better than most people now. So Now you're ready to go. So head to the airport, do all that security, enjoy. And in the meantime, I'm going to be doing that in a couple days. So with that, I will probably check in from the airport, but then I will check in again with you guys when I get to Tulsa. Okay, so another thing to be prepared for when you're renting EV is that you might not get the EV you rented. I rented a Mach-E, but I got an Ioniq 5. And I can't say I'm unhappy about it. I like the Ioniq 5. I get to play with one for a couple days. But doing a bunch of research on how the Mustang Mach-E works, infotainment, all that, kind of waste of time now. But we'll play with this, have fun. So here we are in the Ioniq 5, getting it all ready to leave the rental car place. You know, so been familiarizing myself with it, although I'm kind of familiar with it because I've test driven these before, and they're pretty cool cars. I like the Ioniq 5. So now it's off to the Hard Rock Hotel in Tulsa, Oklahoma on a really cold, rainy, cruddy day. But here we go. Okay, so we're just about ready to roll in the Hyundai Ioniq 5 rental car that I got, which is not what I rented. I rented a Mach-E, but we're gonna make the most of it with the Ioniq. So here we go. Make sure we don't hit these giant trucks. No surprise that in Tulsa, Oklahoma, there's a lot of trucks. Don't know if I need my license when I get to the exit. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Looking like in this case I probably don't. Now, the weather is terrible. So we're gonna ease into playing around with this car just a little bit because I don't want to smash it up right from the start. I always hate these, like when you first drive out of a airport that you're not super familiar with, like where the hell am I going? That's kind of the thing about renting cars these days is you don't often get the car you want. But at least it was an EV. I would have been pissed if they tried to give me like a Nissan Rogue or something. So I can't stand those cars. They're the worst. Okay, I guess I was going the right way. Pilot Flying J. I don't know if they have any EV chargers down at that one. I don't think so. I think most of the ones they have around here are Francis Energy, and there's an Electrify America. I think there's a couple of slower chargers. But we'll review the Francis Energy chargers.
In a quarter of a mile, continue straight.
Mainly because, you know, I don't have any other time that I can review those. That's basically exclusive to Oklahoma. But yeah, this car drives so well. But like, these roads aren't the best, but it's just nice and smooth. Yeah, the Ionic's a nice car. This car they did a really good job with the Ionic. And I haven't driven an Ionic 6. I like the way they look. I haven't driven one. But they don't seem as...
exit right.
They don't seem as nice to me. I don't know. I thought when the Ionic 6 came out, I actually thought that I would like it better than the Ionic 5. And after driving an Ionic 5 and then seeing the Ionic 6 in person, I've actually come to appreciate the design of the Ionic 5. It's actually a pretty cool car. I mean, I like the way it looks now. Like, I guess in pictures when they first came out, I wasn't sure. It's kind of like,
quarter of a mile, exit right.
But, oh, yeah, there it is. Light Diffuse of Excellence, Blackhawk Industrial. That's us. That is us, baby. Just in the last few years, we've grown quite a bit, so it's pretty exciting. Ah, there's the Hard Rock right over there. It takes off pretty. It's got a nice little pickup. I mean, again, this is not like a sports car, obviously. Well, Tesla supercharger here. Of course, that's useless for an Ionic 5. All right, we're here. Okay, I'll check on you guys in a little bit. So I'm here at Francis Energy. Car's plugged in. They sent me this card in the mail. RFID card, tap. Nothing. Doesn't work. Oh, there we go. It just took about 47 times. Establishing connection. There we go. Look at that. So I'm at 45% state of charge because I didn't go all that far with this rental car, and I have to return it early tomorrow morning. So normally I wouldn't charge the car up until it was down around 20-25%, but since I gotta head out of here early tomorrow morning, I'm charging it up now. So here we are at Francis Energy, right outside the parking garage at Hard Rock, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Which was kind of cool because this charger doesn't even appear in their app. So I thought I was going to have to go a few miles to charge up, but hey, I don't. Right here. So sometimes you experience that. You find chargers where you didn't expect to find them. And what else is right here? They have this one unit here, so let's go check out what it is. Hear those fans humming. Power electronics unit. There you have it. Oh yeah, this is only a 60 kilowatt charger, so I guess 59.9 kilowatts wasn't too bad considering. And we're right across from what else? Tesla chargers. And there's a level 2. And the cool thing about this one too, it's under a canopy. Why don't they have more charging stations under canopies? But the Teslas aren't. Haha. So not too bad. I mean, considering it's right outside the parking garage, 60 kilowatt unit. It's convenient. It's right here. I don't have to go far. I've got a little time right now, so I'll charge this car up. See how far we gotten here. Added 2% in 3 minutes. So it's not going to be fast, but that's okay. Look at that, 60 kilowatts, max power. So, I have to say, Francis Energy, done all right. Done all right, because you were giving me full power there for a little bit. Now it's ramping down some, but, we're getting close to 50%. So, all in all, not too bad. Hyundai Ioniq 5, really neat little car. Well, I guess it's not that little. So our little Francis Energy 60 kilowatt charger right here is chugging right along, up to 55% right now. Just going. So there you have it. So Francis Energy, it was a little weird. The card they sent me didn't work. I was about to try the app, and then all of a sudden the RFID card worked. That's a good thing. I mean, a lot of times, if a charging company like that sends a card, I'll use that as opposed to the app sometimes. Either way, it should work. The funny thing though was I was concerned only because that it wouldn't charge at first with the card, because this charger here at the Hard Rock in Tulsa does not appear on Francis Energy's app, but the screen on the charger had using the app as an option to start the charge. But if it doesn't appear on the app, how would that be an option? So, this is kind of a local charging network, Francis Energy. It's not Electrifying America or Unigo or anybody like that. So, maybe that's kind of the issue. It's just because it's a smaller network and it doesn't appear in the app yet. I don't know. But, it still is the Wild West of charging out there when you're not using Teslas, which you can sort of see back there. So still awaiting the real, true opening of the Tesla Supercharger network to non-Tesla EVs. That will be, as I always say, quite the game changer. And super excited for that, to the point where, most of the time I would just avoid any other public charger other than Tesla until the rest of them kind of catch up and realize that Tesla's going to eat their lunch if they don't get things working better. So, and at the end of the day, this was not a bad charging experience. It's a little slow charger, but that's okay. I can live with that, seeing as it's right outside my hotel. So, not a bad little rental experience here in Tulsa, Oklahoma with the Hyundai Ioniq 5. Kind of funny, though, that I rented a Mustang Mach-E and ended up with Ioniq 5. So, I guess that's one of the lessons, of when you're going to rent a car. Well, sometimes you get a car that you didn't reserve. And when it comes to EVs, like I always say, you got to do research on the EV that you're going to be renting, but you should do a little bit of research on EVs overall, because sometimes you might not get the EV that you reserved. You might get something or what do they call it, or similar, so my rental reservation was Mach-E or similar. I don't really think of the Ioniq 5 as being similar to the Mustang Mach-E, but I guess class-wise it is. They're both considered compact SUVs, sort of. But I really think of them being like totally different cars. But I guess in the rental space, they're, or similar. So, the big key is do your research, make sure you understand EVs, how they work, where you're going to charge before you go on vacation. And sometimes, like I had this on this trip, even though it's not a vacation, it's a business trip, but staying at the Hard Rock Hotel here in Tulsa, just, looking around, I knew there were some Tesla chargers here because those showed up on Tesla's map. And I knew there was level 2 here, but just sort of driving around the parking lot, I'm like, oh, look at that. There's a 60 kilowatt Francis Energy charger right here too. So I didn't have to go very far to charge this car back up. So that's all a good thing. So once again, just the lesson is do your research on EVs, understand where you're going to charge, how EVs charge, the route planning in whatever car you get, and pretty much all of them have a route planning feature where you can select chargers and it'll route you to them. And, just understand how it works. Now, a lot of times, like I said, this one is right here in the hotel parking lot. So I was literally parked about 300 yards from here. So I didn't have time to precondition before coming over here. But seeing as it ended up being a 60 kilowatt charger, probably really didn't matter. And it's not super cold here today. It's 45 degrees out right now. So not warm, but not super cold. But normally if you are staying somewhere and you're going to be driving 5, 6, maybe 10 miles to a fast charger, punch that into your car's navigation system, tell it you're going to that charger, and the car will precondition the battery and warm it up. So whether it's 45 degrees, 4 degrees, 70 degrees, the car will make sure that the battery is at the optimal temperature when you get to the charger to take as much juice as it can. And that's really it. I mean, it's not that hard to drive an EV. The horror stories can absolutely be avoided. I think most of them are exaggerated anyway. So there you go. I am back from Tulsa, Oklahoma, back home, and just sort of recapping this whole trip and putting it all together. The EV rental experience can be seamless if you know what you're doing. And, the key things are to just be prepared. Before you go on the trip, when you reserve an EV, do some research on the vehicle that you're going to be renting. Do some research on the chargers in the area that you're going to be traveling to. So, the ChargeWay app, PlugShare. Find out what is around where you're going to be and where those chargers are. So you have that in your mind, wherever your hotel is, how far is it to the nearest DC fast charger. Also, one thing I didn't really go over in this video is if your hotel possibly has level 2 charging, which is slower, but you know, you get back to your hotel at night, plug in, next morning you come out, car's charged. It's kind of how most people charge their EVs at home in their garage. There's that option. Make sure you know, checked out if that's available to you. You can use that. Download any apps that you're going to need to have. I mean, essential is Electrify America, EVgo, and ChargePoint. Those three, you'll probably find at least one of those three wherever you go. And if you have those apps on your phone, preloaded with your payment information all set up, you're going to have no problem charging because the card readers usually are terrible. And being set up in the app usually makes this seamless experience, or relatively seamless. And, you know, just understand what you're getting into. And again, be prepared a little bit for the unexpected, because you might rent a Mustang Mach-E like I did, but then when you go to pick the car up, they give you an Ioniq 5 or something else. So you might do some research on a particular vehicle, on how it functions, and then you get a different car. So they are different, but a lot of the information that you might have researched is mostly translatable to a different vehicle. I mean, the infotainment systems work a little bit different, but you know, a CCS car is a CCS car. They use the same type of chargers. You know, so whatever research you did on DC fast charging will apply no matter what electric vehicle you have. And that's non-Tesla as far as the CCS charging. If it's Tesla, it's going to be super easy anyway. And you know, that's really the key to the whole thing, is being prepared and understanding the differences between an EV and an ICE vehicle. And if you're ready for how they work, and you've already prepared yourself for the differences and how EVs perform and how you charge them and keep them, you know, fueled up, you're going to have a really good time. And I think driving an EV, especially, you know, if you are not experienced with EVs at all, you'll probably find that the driving experience is vastly superior to that of an ICE car, especially, you know, rental ICE cars. I mean, typically, you know, you end up getting like a Camry or a Altima or something, and driving even a base Ioniq 5 or Mach-E or Polestar 2 is way better than any kind of base rental car you're going to get. And EVs are just better. I know there'll be a lot of people that want to fight over that, but in my opinion, as someone who's driven a lot of cars for a lot of years, EVs are just better. I mean, they just are. And, you know, as they become more and more ubiquitous, it will become easier and easier and easier to find chargers. That's all coming down the road. But at the time of this recording, January 2024, for people that are inexperienced with EVs, it could be difficult. But if you're educated and you get yourself prepared, you will have no problems. So remember, EVs are awesome, and it's okay to be awesome. Catch you guys next time.
Turn left, and then turn left. Turn left.
Turn
and
left.
then
Turn left.
Turn right. And
Turn
then
right.
Turn right.
Turn left. Turn right. Turn left. Turn right. She doesn't know.
Turn right.
Okay.
And then